We go ball out to pizza. See my mouse like a come here, baby. I let her write me my suggestion. Hey, quiz, it's a pop quiz. All my money coming clean, you can't pop this. She got that.
The 2K Sports pregame show, presented by Kia.
Hello, everybody. Glad you could join us here on 2K Sports. I'm your host, Ernie Johnson. Next to me, Kenny the Jet Smith and Dr. Shaquille O'Neal. Tonight, it'll be the Cleveland Cavaliers going up against the Golden State Warriors. Well, for Golden State, hard for them to forget their finals defeat at the hands of this team last season. Nothing can erase that, but a win wouldn't hurt. And Stephen Curry, one of the guys you'll be seeing tonight. This guy is, you know what I like to say, don't you, Kenny?
Oh,
he makes it look effortless. Is it fair to call him the best?
If you came for battle, just expect to bleed. Survivor, don't count me out, cause what don't kill me only makes me stronger.
Welcome, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to 2K Sports for another edition of NBA Basketball. With Greg Anthony and Doris Burke, this is Kevin Harlan. David Aldridge will join us from the sidelines. The crowd here in anticipation of their home team Cavaliers in an interconference battle here at the Quicken Loans Arena. They're getting their first look of the season at the Warriors in this one. And how could they forget? This is the team that handed them a devastating defeat in the finals, one that went all the way to Game 7.
And this is their first matchup against this team since they knocked them off in the NBA Finals.
And before the tip-off, let's send it over to David Aldridge.
Well, Kevin, few people saw it coming, but Stephen Curry has claimed the mantle as the league's best player. Draymond Green said it was the way Curry came back even better last season that solidified it. He said everything in basketball is usually a year behind. You've got to see it again to really believe it and get confident enough to say it.
His teammates know firsthand what an impact he makes, David. Thank you. And Doris, in the early season, you start to get a glimpse of what teams might be and what teams are going to falter a little bit and how they're going to get out of it. Different situations arrive early in the first 20-22 games.
I'll tell you, Doug Collins is fond of saying it's a first quarter league. I'm a believer in it's the first 25 games of the season league. It gives you a good sense of which team is drastically improved, which team may surprise you. So much is going to be formed in that first quarter part of the season.
Now Golden State's starting five. The incredible shooting pair of Curry and Thompson in the backcourt. Pachulia is out there with Draymond Green, and it's Durant in at the 3 slot. And so it's the Warriors getting on the board first. Irving for 3. It's good, the assist that time from Smith. Irving's got himself going with the triple, his first basket of the game. Here's Curry with the 3. Rebound by Smith. Love kicks to Smith. Back to Love. From the arc. And it's Durant with the rebound. Looking at the last game for the Golden State Warriors, it was a loss to Charlotte.
You know, you hate to use this word, but I really felt like it was a sorry effort that they put forth on the defensive side.
No, it's right on point. They didn't close off the lane, didn't hustle to the ball, didn't do any of the basic things required from a defense. Cleveland coach Tyronn Lue, of course, played 11 years in the NBA. Came off the bench, won titles with the Lakers, played on the worst team in the league. I mean, that breadth of experience seems to serve him well as a head coach. He's certainly seen enough.
Just good, solid, aggressive finish there on the break.
Yeah, he didn't need any assistance on that one. He had it handled all on his own.
And Love gets it to go.
I tell you, that timing and that awareness Love has near the rim is something you simply can't teach.
And Lue gives Coach Doc Rivers credit for seeing the coaching potential in him when he didn't see it in himself.
You're right, Kevin. Rivers told him, you could coach for me. And Tyronn wasn't so sure. Thought coaching sounded like too much work. 6 years later, change of heart, called Doc to ask for a job, and the rest is history.
Channing Frye's checked in for the Cavaliers. Shumpert comes in for J.R. Smith. Andre Iguodala. He's checked in for the Warriors. Livingston comes in for Steph Curry.
Love is usually lights out from the charity stripe. Just possesses a nice stroke from there.
And the dunk by James.
Such a strong finisher on the fast break.
Yeah, and he's not going to let an opportunity like that get away. I mean, he's just going to go hard to the bucket.
Now here's Durant. 11-point game his last outing. Irving passes to Love. Kicks it out to James. And just under 2.5 minutes elapsed here in the first. And there's the pass to Shumpert. Just 5 to shoot from downtown. And LeBron James with the 3. James has got his second bucket of the night.
And it just seems that every pass they make is leading to a score. Just great ball movement.
Iguodala gets to Durant. That ball's nice feed that time from Andre Iguodala.
You can't afford to give him that kind of a look.
Come on, as a defender, you have got to fight harder to get through that screen and stay with your man.
And nobody, guys, among the defenders stepping up to challenge him on that drive to the 10.
And Greg, he says, thank you very much, and sails in for the flush.
Yeah, they may have gotten the feeling he would dish it off, but he had a surprise for them.
We caught up with Kyrie Irving earlier, and he talked a little bit about expectations for himself and his teammates.
We expect so much out of each other every single night, and the team is going to go as hard as we go, as well as the other pieces that we have on the team. But we have to control it from a standpoint that we have to play off each other.
Kyrie reminding us that it's not just the expectations of the fans and the media he and LeBron deal with, but also perhaps the most demanding of all are the expectations that they've got for each other.
Oh yeah. I mean, two guys who expect so much of themselves to start with, who naturally have a vision of how great the other guys should be. They're constantly trying to manage expectations while still demanding the best from one another. And I got to tell you, it's fun to watch.
Now the second quarter getting ready to start up. And taking a look at the Cavaliers' performance here, what do you guys see?
It's been a point of emphasis, no doubt, to make sure they attack the rim offensively.
And until the defense closes off that lane to try and stop that, no reason to change strategies.
And Golden State looking at who they've got. They've got Livingston, Iguodala out there with Durant, then it's Curry, and it's West in at the center position.
And they're beginning to just flat out fall apart defensively right now, especially on the interior.
Here's Durant. And it's good, assisting on the play with Livingston. Durant's got 7.
There's no question he's one of the more gifted offensive players in this league. More evidence of that right here.
Here's Williams. Misses off the left iron.
High-quality shot, just a little off there with the release.
He didn't look comfortable going up, but he knew it was a good look. Had to take it.
Count that one, and the Cleveland lead has been cut down to just 3 on the basket from Kevin Durant. And keeping us updated from the sideline, let's swing it over to David Aldridge.
Well, guys, there's no doubt that the Splash Brothers are the most dangerous backcourt in the NBA. Steph Curry is the MVP, but he said of Klay Thompson, I love playing with him. How much better he's gotten since day one is kind of scary. He's such a great two-way player, and he isn't anywhere close to hitting his ceiling. Kevin?
Thanks, D8. They're one heck of a tag team.
After not scoring a single point in the first quarter, they're still feeding him, and he's showing his appreciation.
Curry wide open, and then right back with their own three-pointer.
And they're hitting the long-range shots that they were missing in the first quarter, but still have ground to make up.
Second shot opportunity, and it's laid up and in by Varejao. Varejao's got his first bucket of the night. Warriors trailed by 8. Durant kicks to Curry. Here's Livingston. It's rebounded by Cleveland. They defeated the Wizards in their last game.
They played well enough to win, but to be honest with you, I just felt like their opponent's defensive performance was shaky at best.
Well, it's no doubt. It's so much easier to run your offense if the defense is not trying to take away any of your options.
How about the passing. They are moving the ball without any thought, without any individual agenda.
Got a piece of it. It's Curry outside. The shot, no good. And
Thanks very much. Steph, what do you think of your defense in the first half?
We're a step late, I think, and they made tough shots. We can't take away from that, but for the most part, we have to find a way to guard that line if they're knocking down shots to keep them out the game.
We'll see where the adjustments take you. Thanks, Steph. Back to you, Kevin.
thanks for the great interview, David. And
It's the 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Welcome back, everybody. It's the halftime show on 2K Sports. Ernie Johnson here with Kenny the Jet Smith and Shaquille O'Neal. The first quarter for the Cavaliers was fairly even. Their largest deficit of the period was just 4 points. They were right there within shouting distance the entire time. The second quarter was full of highlights for them, and as their play improved, so did their lead. They'll be carrying an 11-point edge into the second half. What'd you think, Shaq, about Cleveland?
Well, Kenny should appreciate this. I love the ball movement. They were in sync as a unit, and their assist numbers were impressive. Anytime you get 5 players working together like that instead of one guy doing it alone, it's always going to be a boost. That's the primary reason they're in control of the game.
And over to Kenny. What did you think about Golden State?
Well, they're facing a team that shot very well in the first half. Now, that being said, they probably weren't aggressive enough on the defensive end. That was the difference.
And that about wraps it up, as the second half is just moments away. Now down to Kevin Harlan and the rest of the crew, and we will see you after the game, won't we?
Yes, we will.
Yes, we will.
glad to have you back with us in Cleveland as we take a look down at the outside portion of Quicken Loans Arena. Welcome back, everyone, to the start of the second half. Big margin on our hands, but we'll see if that gap narrows down in the third and fourth quarters. One of the great stories here, Nick Young getting it done today.
And the thing I noticed most in that first half was his offense. He was not wasteful with his opportunities and also did a great job of converting with the chances he had.
Yeah, for the most part, he took only good shots. And given his success, they may want him to be a bit more aggressive in the second half.
Well, from a broadcasting perspective, Doris, just how global has the game of basketball grown with advances in the accessibility of the games being played?
You know what I marvel at is how the next generation consumes sports content. Live sports are still what the viewer wants, but you'll see so many people watching on mobile devices, right? Small tablets, phones. It's incredible to me how different our business is, Kevin. News is now not broken in a newspaper story. News is broken on social media.
And don't you think, Doris, it's promoted that way, too, because owners in this league that are very in tune with the tech side of the business?
Many of them are businessmen and have succeeded because they've been visionaries in their field, and certainly they want to know, how is our content getting to that next generation?
Good point. And now let's check out the lineups courtesy of Gatorade, all fueled up and ready to go for the second half of basketball. So on the floor for Cleveland, sharpshooters Irving and J.R. Smith are the backcourt duo. LeBron and Love, the two superstar forwards. And it's Thompson in at the 5 spot. Warriors trailed by 11. Green kicks to Durant. Good, and it's Green picking up the assist. Durant's got 5 points now in the quarter.
Nice move and finish. I think the halftime break really gave him a second win.
I think defensively, they've got to get their heads in the game. Judging by that play, they've come out of the locker room a little lethargic.
And the Warriors decide to take their first time out here.
Yeah, enough scoring on the inside there. I think it's time for him to send a message to his team.
It's ridiculous to give up that many points in the paint. You know, I think he'd like them to play a bit more physical.
Amon Shumpert's checked in for Smith. Ian Clark's checked in for Golden State.
I think everyone knows Cleveland is the team to beat in the East. They steamrolled through the Eastern Conference a year ago. And I think as long as their roster stays pretty much intact, they've got to continue to exert that dominance.
James dishes to Love. Kicks it out to James. Back to Love. Outside Irving. Here's Shumpert. It's good from long range. Shumpert's got the lead up to 14 now for the Cavs.
The assist totals, Kevin, just continue to grow. They're way ahead in that category. Ball
ball movement has been flawless.
You can't blame him for this deficit on the scoreboard. This guy's been consistent as always.
The Cavaliers have gone 3 of 5 to start the second half, developing a nice rhythm out there. Count that bucket.
And you could see that contact coming as soon as Shumpert committed to going right to the rim.
Warriors trail by 14. Here's Thompson. Thompson with the rebound.
That's the kind of D you need when he's got the ball near the hoop. They were all over.
LeBron kicks to Thompson. And it's Thompson with the jam.
You know, he might be undersized as a center, but the vertical is what allows him to play bigger.
Golden State's gone 1 of 3 from downtown since halftime. On its way from Curry for 2, and that one hits back iron.
Boy, a really bad collective mental lapse. They are fortunate he missed that.
Tom's the bucket.
And when it rains, it pours. Another jump shot tickles the twine.
Knocked loose. And that's out of bounds. Golden State will retain possession. So it's both teams making substitutions here. There's 18 seconds left to play in the third. Back to Livingston. Tipped away. And now the Cavaliers. Fast break with 4 seconds on the clock. Near the three-point line, it's Love. And as we end the third quarter, a double-digit deficit will make it tough. Now let's listen in to head coach Steve Kerr.
Move it to the next guy, drive and kick, let it come out in the wash, all right?
And Steve Kerr asking his guys to simply run their offense, share the basketball.
Yeah, and don't just settle for tossing it around the horn. Attack the defense. Play inside out when you can.
And we're rolling here again with the fourth quarter. Might not come down to the wire, but you never know. On the court for Golden State here in the fourth. Clay and Iguodala, the potent wing pair. Draymond Green is out there with Pachulia, and it's Livingston in at the point guard. The 10-footer. A tad short, but it's good off the front iron. Felder's got the first points up on the board here in the fourth for the Cavs. Livingston kicks to Thompson. It's taken away by Smith. Here's Felder, and you can count it. He'll go to the line with a chance to make it 3.
How about the way he's able to angle his body to shield the big fella off and still get the finish?
That kind of ability to adjust in the air is the only way to do it when you're faced with that much of a size disadvantage in the paint.
James checked in for Cleveland. Golden State also making some changes. Durant's checked in for Iguodala, and Curry subbed in for Sean Livingston. And all throughout a basketball career, you have coaches shaping how you play. Doris, in your mind, what attributes of a coach make them a good one?
I think there are so many things that go into being a good coach. Obviously, you have to have great X and O ability. You also have to convince NBA players that you have a plan, and they have to believe that your plan is going to take them where they want to go, and that's into the playoffs and ultimately to a championship. But to me, Kevin, it'd be interesting to get your take on this. I think they've got to believe you care about them as people as well. Your take? You think so?
Communication skills, to me, would be the number one thing. And some coaches that publicly appear to be very standoffish, cold, sometimes turn out to be the warmest and the best communicators.
Well, you look at a guy to me like Rick Carlisle, right, whose X and O is off the charts, and guys immediately respect that. And I think from a press perspective, he could come off as gruff, but I think his guys know, man to man, he cares about them.
That eye contact's a pretty big thing, and then asking questions sometimes away from the game too. Would you not agree?
Oh, sure. You know, listen, these men always have lives outside of the NBA. They're no different than you and I, right? And so, you know, there's a lot to be mined when you're coaching people. It's not just about what happens between the lines.
Here's Pachulia, and it comes off the front of the rim.
Looked like it might drop for him, and you know, that has to frustrate him just a bit. That's one of his favorite spots on the floor.
Shots good from Young.
Yes, and with this one winding down, it's obvious to everyone who watched it. Just a total mismatch and a true show of strength for Cleveland.
This was a team performing to its fullest capability.
A hugely satisfying win. A game that not many will soon forget. And
on the other side, one that I think most will try to forget.
And during the long NBA season, each contest important here tonight. Tonight's win will give them 4 on the season.
And so they win their first game against this squad. It's a 2-game season series, and they'll be going for the sweep the next time they face off. And what a huge standout performance it was for Nick Young.
Well, what a game. Offensively, this guy was a force. Defensively, set the tone, just bringing everything to the table and trying to get this kind of lead.
And Cleveland making a change here. Jefferson's checked in, and the Warriors also making a change. Jones checked in for Pachulia. On its way from Curry for 2, and the shot no good, a bit short.
Not really sure what he was thinking about on that shot. That is not high IQ basketball.
No, and it looked like he got a bit ahead of himself and just couldn't pull back.
Bangs home the trifecta.
Boy, somehow he wound up all by himself behind the arc. Clearly a missed assignment on the defensive end. Coach will not be happy.
And just a terrific job of taking care of business in front of the home fans.
You can feel the love that this crowd has for them. I think the passion of their supporters made a huge difference in tonight's outcome.
And Young, here we go. So we see the Cavaliers taking the win here. They won this game going away. They were the better basketball team by far tonight.
And you got to commend this sort of dominance, particularly here at home. It's a great feeling when you play almost a perfect game and to have that crowd be so pumped up.
It's time now to go courtside as we send you over to David Aldridge from the sideline. David, take it away.
Thanks, Kevin. JR, congrats on the win. You got yourself going, but it looked like everybody was going well tonight.
I definitely think so. You know, we got a lot of great players on our team, a lot of people who can score, and hopefully we can just keep building on it.
Well, you all contributed tonight. Thanks, JR. Back to you, Kevin.
All right, David, thank you. Well, folks, that's going to do it for now. For Greg Anthony, Doris Burke, and Dave.
The 2K Sports postgame show.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Ernie Johnson. Shaq is here. So is the Jet. Without further ado, let's take a look at our Jordan player of the game. He really stepped it up and played very big tonight. A huge boost from an unexpected source. They'd love to see more of that. Shaq, what'd you like about his game?
As efficient and offensive performance as you're ever going to see, and I mean ever. I don't care where your shots come from. You're not supposed to shoot that high of a percentage. Did he miss? I don't think he missed.
Well, he's the most assertive guy on the basketball court tonight, Ernie, and at both ends of the court, not just on the offensive end, but on the defense as well. And it wasn't just in spurts. His energy was endless.
And, folks, that is it for us. Thank you for tuning in. Always our pleasure. You have no idea.
Can I give a shout out, Ernie?
Sure.
Shout out to my main man, Joel. We love you, baby.
Any shout out from you, Kenny?
Yeah, shout out to not my main man, Joel.
Hey, have a good night.